most revered, most successful champion in the long and colorful history of Mexican boxing, returns to his native country for his 94th fight and 15th title defense.
I keep fighting because I believe I still have a lot to prove to myself and a lot to prove to all of Mexico. I believe I can still fight and continue to win.
But anxious to ruin Chavez's homecoming and break the hearts of all true Mexican fight fans is the pride of Sacramento, Tony Lopez. It's six-time world champion Julio Cesar Chavez against three-time world title holder Tony Lopez for Chavez's WBC super lightweight title. Undefeated champion super slugger Felix Trinidad from Puerto Rico takes on unbeaten #1 challenger Detroit stylish Obacar for the IBF welterweight title. The only man to beat Julio Cesar Chavez, Frankie Randall, is on a mission to prove he is one of the world's best as he defends his title against Philadelphia's own Rockin' Rodney Moore for the WBA Junior Welterweight Championship. And Argentinian sensation champion Jorge Fernando Castro, who has won an impressive 95 bouts, takes on undefeated John David Jackson for the WBA middleweight title. It's a world championship quadruple header, coming to you live from Monterrey, Mexico.
This is a promotion of Don King Productions in association with New Shows and Corona Beer. Pay-per-view distributed by SET Pay-per-view.
Welcome to Monterrey, Mexico. We are 140 miles south of the United States border. This stadium is the home field of the Monterrey Sultans of the Mexican League. And when the ballpark is not being used for baseball, it serves as an outdoor concert hall for some of the world's most popular musical performers. But tonight, for the first time in the stadium's history, it will be converted into a boxing venue. Hello, everybody. I'm Jim Hill, your host for tonight's championship boxing card from Monterrey, Mexico. Our main event features Mexican boxing legend Julio Cesar Chavez. Now, while El Gran Campeon is no longer undefeated, he still has the respect and admiration of his fellow countrymen. Chavez continues to march towards the 100 victory mark with hopes of possible return matches with his two ring rivals, Frankie Randall and Pernell Whitaker. But standing between Chavez and his aspirations is Tony the Tiger Lopez. For years, Lopez sought a fight with Chavez because a showdown with Chavez has long been considered the ultimate test in the lightweight divisions. The Tiger has come to Mexico to confront Chavez on his home turf. For more on tonight's main event, let's go down to ringside and Steve Albert. Steve.
Thanks very much, Jim. Let's bring you up to date on the careers of Chavez and Lopez. The 32-year-old Chavez, an eye-popping 92-1-1 with 78 KOs. The lone blemish, the loss to Frankie Randall last January, which he avenged, albeit in controversial fashion. He comes off the 8th-round TKO win over Meldrick Taylor in the rematch this past September to retain the title. Chavez going for his 14th successful defense overall of this title, his second in his current reign as WBC super lightweight champion. Meanwhile, 31-year-old Tony the Tiger Lopez is braced for the challenge of his life, 45-4-1 with 32 knockouts, rated #2 by the WBC. Lopez, a three-time world champion in his own right. Now, back in '88, he took the IBF junior lightweight belt from Rocky Lockridge, making 3 successful defenses before losing to John Molina. He regained the title over Molina in '90. Then he won the WBA lightweight title over Joey Gamache in '92. He's had 3 non-title fights as a super lightweight since October of '93, with the most recent being an impressive 10th-round TKO over Greg Haugen this past June. And earlier this evening, the arrival of the champion, Mexico's favorite son, Julio Cesar Chavez, along with his own son, Julio Jr. Chavez making Monterrey the 14th city in his native Mexico, in which he has laced up the gloves. Chavez has won 6 world titles in 3 weight divisions during his remarkable career. He's the winner of 28 world championship bouts, placing him #1 in that category, recently surpassing the legendary Joe Louis. And we've got the challenger, Tony the Tiger Lopez. Tony the Tiger in his dressing room. Yes, the Tiger taking a little cat nap. Making the journey to Monterrey from his hometown of Sacramento, California. Lopez has had 36 of his 50 fights in Sacramento. venturing south of the border for the first time. Sweet dreams, Tony. Lopez comes in with a wealth of experience, very aggressive, strong power, good chin. He's been knocked out only once in 50 fights. But that was back in '89 by John Molina, which he avenged the following year. Both Tony Lopez and Julio Cesar Chavez are still at the top of the division and among the world's best, despite being in the twilight of their careers. And time now to bring in my partners at ringside with that, starting with the fight doctor, Ferdy Pacheco. And Ferdy, Chavez and Lopez have certainly withstood the test of time.
Yes, and they're both so used to championship competition. These guys know how to compete at the very top level of the game. They know what it means, especially Julio Cesar Chavez going for that goal of 100. Now, Julio is rubbing his hands in glee. For once, he doesn't have to go and chase somebody all over the ring, because Tony's going to stand right in front of him, arms akimbo, and going at him like a machine. And Tony, for his part, is licking his lips. He's saying, hey, this guy's going downhill. I'm catching him going downhill, and I'm the one that's going to beat him. So I look for a very interesting and spectacular bout while it lasts.
All right, Ferdy, we turn now to Bobby Ches. And Bobby, let's get your insight on the styles of Chavez and Lopez and what type of fight you expect tonight.
Well, Steve, I expect this is going to be a great fight. It may start out slowly, but it's guaranteed to heat up by the middle rounds. Julio Cesar Chavez has always been the quintessential search and destroy fighter. His MO is a head and body attack like no other fighter has been able to do, en route to the destruction of all of his opponents. Tony the Tiger Lopez, however, brings in all of the best tools of a good boxer puncher. Good chin and good power. He's defensively smart. He can box from the outside, and he's got a good right hand. Now, Chavez has, of recent times at least, has appeared to slip a little bit. But with these two styles, both men like to go forward. They like to get into the fight. This has to be an explosive war.
Yeah, we could have a war on our hands here tonight. We look forward to your observations along with the fight doctor throughout. And before we move on, let's check the weather conditions here at the Estadio Baseball de Monterrey. And the weather is a factor. First of all, the altitude is high, not quite as high as Mexico City, but high enough. But the story, the temperature 52 degrees and dropping, 44% humidity, the wind out of the northwest at 12 miles per hour. And in one word, it is cold. And with that, let's go back up to Jim Hill.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. Now, the amazing career of Julio Cesar Chavez is renowned for dramatic moments in the ring. Now, Chavez's most exciting exploits are available to you on video cassette.
92 professional fights, 77 knockouts, 5 world titles. Now, relive the glory, the fury, the awesome power of Julio Cesar Chavez.
Now, here's an exciting card from Bob Sheridan. Here's a call.
All right, we're all set to go here. This is a scheduled 12-round WBC Strawweight Championship of the World. That's the 105-pound division. Since both of the men are in white trunks, the fellow with the red trim to the left of your screen is Yamil Caraballo. The champion is Ricardo Lopez, and he is a good one. He's from Mexico City. Comes into this tilt 38-0 with 28 knockouts. Last time out, if you've been watching King Vision around the world, you know that he knocked out the Thai opponent in the very first round of that fight. Yamil Caraballo has a record of 12-4-1 with 4 knockouts to his record, more of a boxer than a puncher, but he's the pride of Cartagena, Colombia, and he just walked into a pretty good right hand by little Ricardo Lopez. As I take a look at my tail of the tape, Lopez is an inch taller, that weights exactly the same at 104 pounds. Ricardo Lopez, at 27 years old, is 2 years older than Caraballo. He has a 1-inch reach advantage over Caraballo, and they're both coming up victories. Down goes the challenger already. I don't know if he can recover. It's up to 4 and 5 and 6. He's not going to make it. He doesn't even bother to count him out. It's all over. Another first-round knockout for Ricardo Lopez. Let's watch this now as I watch along with you and see if we can see where that right hand came. He tested it once earlier in the round. There it is right there, and he caught him right on the button with it. Just a long looping right hand, and it was lights out for Yamil Caraballo.
Ricardo Lopez winning in impressive fashion. His record improved to 39-0 with 29 knockouts. And this mighty might has held the 105-pound title longer than anyone in the division's history.